Alright, here we are, back again. This is going to be a little thing that's be back in time, back to 2010, when I first got back into model trains. I was going to do the hell you call it, the Twilight Zone theme, but then I thought that would be a little weird. So, what I'm going to do instead, I'm just going to post some snapshots because I didn't even have a video. Well, didn't think about doing video back then. Of the first layouts that I actually created. It wasn't much. And keep in mind that I was absolutely a beginner. So, and actually I started out with the N gauge, which is much smaller than HO. And as I stated in a previous video, my hands are too fat to properly handle the N scale. Is very difficult. So I decided to sell off everything in the N scale and go back up to HO, or go to HO. This is just some of the pictures of the first layout. N scale is very primitive. And I didn't have a whole lot of money tied up in it, but it just really, I wasn't satisfied with it. And, you know, the biggest thing about N scale is they don't really have stuff for N scale like they do for HO. You know, cool things like buildings that are animated, or even a bigger selection of scenery or train cars. You just don't have it in N scale yet. Maybe one day they will, but right now not so much. And I wanted to be able to build something that had more detail and was closer to reality than N scale really could have given me. So, with that said, I'm going to pause a minute and then I'll explain through each of the 8 frames what I was trying to do or what was going on or something. Anyway, hang in there. I'll be right back. So my first attempt at model railroading was, as you'll see on this one here, was a 4x8 layout on a folding table. Wasn't much. And I was really experimenting with scenery, and as you can see, it was pretty primitive, but hey, you know, it worked out all right, sort of, I guess. But it was very small, and they're just, yeah. At the time, there wasn't much I could find for, you know, details. I mean, the bridges and everything else were really not too much. They were really kind of plasticky and toyish, if that's a word. So that's where I was with that. Now this next frame coming up, I actually built up a little bit more. I've got some mountainous areas, and it looks a little better. And there's actually a creek. And then this one here, well, this is actually before frame number 2. I got them backwards here, but. And this one here, same thing. I actually added on to it. And you can see the homemade trestle piers, the gray concrete things there. It really not a good layout. Not even close to being a good layout. But it was a start, so you know. I quickly decided that this was not the scale for me. I got some houses there and some little tiny cars. So, from this point, I sold everything off and went to HO scale. So, we'll be back with that in just a minute. So, there were many trials and errors in this whole layout. Mostly errors, it seems. I can't seem to find a lot of the pictures. They may be gone. I had a major crash in my computer about a month ago, and I lost a lot of stuff that was irreplaceable. And I believe some of the early pictures of the other layouts that I did are gone. But anyway, I can walk you through them. after did away with the end gauge, I did HO scale, and the first one I did, I thought I could maximize the room by building it in the center of the room. Now, the train room is 11 foot by 14 foot. So put the tables together and put them in the center of the room, and built a layout that was basically in the center of the room. That didn't work. First, I couldn't get to half of the stuff because it was wider than my arms were long. Even though going around the table, it was dumb. Tore that down. Then decided to use the same picnic tables, folding tables, and put them on against the walls all the way around. That worked out okay, sort of, but when it came time to wire up switches and lighting and all that, because of my condition after, having a stroke in '07, it was very difficult for me to do any of that stuff underneath the table. It was out of my reach if I laid down on my back, and I couldn't sit up because the tables weren't tall enough. So, tore that down. Decided to actually build the bench work. The bench work was great, and of course, I'm always thinking ahead, or always trying to. And I built them a lot wider. They were 36 inches wide, 3 foot, which was really too much. I could sort of get to it with my arm, but not really. So I wound up stripping that back down and shortening it, or narrowing them to 24 inches. Much easier, could reach across without any real effort. And that's where I am today, basically. So, like I said, there have been so many changes on this layout, but I think, I'm reasonably sure, that this is the last iteration of it. I just can't see where I could do anything really any different. I set the height up perfectly where I could sit up under there and do the work, even though I hate doing it, but I try and get the wife actually to help out where I can, but there's only so much even she can do. So anyway, that's where we're at, and now we're back up. I'm going to move ahead right back up to 2019, and we'll continue with our regularly scheduled programming coming soon. So once again, thanks for watching and putting up with me. It's been fun so far, but we got a long way to go. Could be years before I finish this thing, if ever. So stick with me and we'll ride it out together. We'll see you soon. Bye.